So alright, if you've been following me on YouTube recently, you'll know that I've been having some mouse troubles, and it all actually started way back with the Rocat Cone XTD, which decided to completely bite the dust as it stopped working altogether. Then with my brand new Logitech G603 that I decided to replace it with, having the scroll wheel snap completely. Don't ask me how that happened. And so I sent it in for warranty, and finally I wrote back all the way to the first ever gaming mouse that I've ever used and bought, my beloved 15-year-old Razer Diamondback Plasma Limited Edition. But even that has decided to kick the bucket after all these years when the board and switches decided to, give up. So rest in peace. So right now I'm using my last spare mouse that I have, the Gigabyte M8000X, and while it does do the job, the laser sensor really isn't all that great, with it jumping around very often, and that makes for tight precision movements very difficult. And so rather than going out and buying another really expensive gaming mouse once again while waiting for my Logitech G603 to come back from warranty, which might take a while since we've got the whole global human malware going on, I decided to try for a much more cheaper brand of mice for fun. And so I hopped onto Lazada and I stumbled upon this guy, the that's right in my eye there, the Fantech X16 Thor II. So let's review this mouse. Wait, how do you review a mouse? Give me a second.
One thing that separates this mouse versus everything else that we've looked at is a completely driverless approach. It's a true plug and play, which is kind of refreshing, and I don't care about creating macros on my mouse.
Okay, so now that I'm a certified professional with tons of experience on how to review gaming mice, thanks to YouTube, let's move on to reviewing the Fantech X16 Thor II. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, so let's start by throwing all the data on the table. The mouse cost me 39 ringgit on Lazada, which converted is about $9 US, and that makes it probably single-handedly the cheapest gaming mouse that I have ever bought, owned and used. The mouse weighs in at 110 grams, meaning that while it isn't exactly one of the lightest mice out there, it's still not too bad. Shape-wise, it finds itself very similar to Logitech and Razer mice, which isn't a bad thing because that means that it has quite a nice and ergonomic shape. From the outlook of the mouse, it may look like it's ambidextrous, but since the side buttons are only on the left, I would say that this is a right-hand only mouse. The mouse is a bit big for my liking, even with my slightly larger hands, and I would say that this is more of a palm grip mouse, which did take some getting used to since my style is more of a claw grip. The mouse has a matte plastic finish on most of the body except for the side buttons and the section between the scroll wheel, and while I do like it, it is a bit of an oil stain magnet. The switches on the mouse are a bit on the heavy side, meaning that they need a little bit more force than I'm used to actuate them. And the scroll wheel is also just a little bit too loose for my liking without any distinct scroll steps. There is a DPI switching button here behind the scroll wheel that I'll get to in just a bit, and there is also a lighting profile here that allows you to cycle between the lighting modes of the mouse. Speaking of lighting then, the mouse has light bars around the body, around the scroll wheel, and of course a light up logo on the back that shows off the, Fantech logo. You've got a braided cord on the mouse, and I do like it as I find that it's quite soft to the touch and bends, so it shouldn't get caught easily and get in the way of moving the mouse. Moving to the bottom, you get 3 large feet, 2 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Though comparing with my other mice, I find that it has a little bit more resistance when moving around, making it a little bit more difficult to glide on a mouse pad. Now onto the main reason why I chose this mouse, or rather why it got my attention. The sensor is actually a Pixart 3319 sensor that goes from 200 dpi all the way to 4200 dpi, and so that means that it's just not a generic Chinese sensor. So I'm definitely very interested to see how this mouse holds up in games and, well, tasks in Windows. Now, while the body isn't exactly perfect, you'll have to remember one thing here, guys, that you're talking about a 40 ringgit or $9 mouse, and so there's definitely going to be some drawbacks, but the question is whether it performs. In terms of the software, Fantech doesn't bundle anything in their box, so you're going to have to use the website or the QR code provided behind the box to download it from there. The software allows you to do things like rebind your mouse keys, redefine the macros for use in the mouse. For example, I like to set my side keys to double click and close app, the DPI setting where you can set the DPI switch to switch between your DPI settings, and advanced settings where you can set things like the pointer speed, the view speed, the double click speed, and the polling rate. No option to change the RGB lighting on the mouse here, so that is a bit unfortunate. I do advise that you install the software of the mouse though, even if you don't plan to change anything on it, because prior to installing this software, I did notice some levels of acceleration in the mouse movement, and the DPI switcher jumps between 6 different speed profiles instead of the 4 after you install the application. The only thing I did notice as well is that the software doesn't launch with the PC on restart, and when you do launch the app, any configuration that you may have set up won't work instantly. The only fix that I found for this is killing HID.exe in your task manager, closing the app, and then relaunching it. It's pretty annoying and it's a pretty bad software bug if you ask me. Now on to using the mouse for, what I bought it for, and that is gaming, and I honestly had a really good time with this mouse. I still needed to do some fine tuning when it came to the sensitivity, and I still, of course, needed to get used to the shape of the mouse, but as far as my first impressions go, it's pretty good. I didn't have any trouble getting my shots down in Call of Duty Warzone, and the mouse was very responsive to my movements and clicks. And so for the 40 ringgit that you're paying for this mouse, or $9, and I know that I sound a little bit like a broken record on this, the Fantech X16 Thor II, I feel, comes in at a price point that is really hard to ignore, especially for many of you out there who are looking to get into gaming but don't have a big budget for, more high tier fancy gear. And it also goes to show that you don't have to pay, out of your wallet, like huge amounts out of your wallet, to get a really good gaming mouse. There are of course software issues, as I have pointed out, but for many of you who don't use it or don't need it, it might not be something to worry about. But of course the fact that it is still there, and it is still a thorn in its side. It's really interesting to see what you can get for your money these days, and Fantech shows that with the X16 Thor II, again, a bit of a mouthful, big sacrifices don't have to be made for performance. I'm definitely quite interested to check out more gear from them in the future, so let me know if you guys feel the same. And so that concludes this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, well, give it a like, subscribe, and get notified for when any new videos come out. Drop any comments down below on maybe what you think about this mouse or Fantech, or maybe just gears in general that you feel I should check out. Thanks so much for watching. This is Yang, the Tech Rodent, and I will see you guys in the next video.